Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this week's episode, I'm going to be pulling down my Postie bike as well as getting everything ready for paint. So with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. So I haven't been filming a lot and I've stripped the bike a fair way down. I pulled off the bash plate, rear rack, the exhaust, the fuel tank, just things like that. When I was pulling the exhaust off, I snapped a couple of the bolts, but oh well. This is what the bike looks like currently. Started taking the wiring harness out. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to pull it all the way out or just leave it in. I started taking everything off the handlebars, but there's still a couple of wires that go into the handlebars just there. And I can't figure out how to take them out yet, so for now the handlebars are just sitting there. I've got some more of the plastics over there, just sitting there ready for paint. So I pulled the headlight off and inside there it's just full of wiring. So I don't really want to pull all that out because I'm not 100% sure that I'll be able to put it all back in, you know what I mean? And then yeah, so right now I'm working on dropping the motor out. So that's what I'm going to try and get done now. Okay. So I've just taken the chain off. Now I'm going to hit the other engine bolt mount thing through and hopefully the engine should come down. Well, I took one bolt out and it just nearly came down, so hold it up a bit. Take that bolt out and down she comes. There. This is the 110 engine. It's not in too bad a nick, but should be able to clean that up pretty nice. Now I'm going to strip the rest of the bike down, which isn't a lot. It's not a lot to do. I start by taking the rear wheel off and doing the rear suspension and stuff. Done a fair bit more on the bike now, as you've seen in that last video. Pulled off the tail light, the suspension, the rear wheel, all that kind of thing, the rear number plate holder. So now I've got to figure out a way to get these through this tunnel. The only way I can do that is if I cut them off, which I really don't want to do because then I have to solder it all back together, which I don't feel like doing. So I might try and paint it with them on there, haven't really decided yet. So now I'm going to take this lower arm off, as well as like the chain guard, all the stands. I might do the fork now as well actually. Back up there. Just start doing some other stuff, so let's get into it. So I've finished stripping the whole thing down pretty much. There's just like one wire in the back of this, as well as just the rest of the frame I've got to pull apart, which isn't much. Just this one wire in the back here, which I might have to cut these little connectors so I can pull it through. The rest of the wiring harness is out, it's just that one thing. Yeah, so I've got to pull the stands off, the rear swing arm, stuff like that. All the rest of the parts are on the table here in a giant mess, but oh well, that's what it is. Then I laid the forks down on the ground and I didn't realise that I'd taken the bolts out that had the seals on. So half the fork oil just went all over the floor, but I had to replace that anyway because it was pretty much water. All bearings came out of the headset, so I just put them all in there. I haven't lost any yet so far, so that's good. But other than that, now it's pulling the rest of this frame apart and then starting to sand it down and getting ready to paint it all. So I'll start painting things and putting it back together. Hopefully by the end of this week I should be well on my way of putting it back together and getting it running nice, and by the end of the week I should have my new battery and possibly my new carby as well. And while I've got all this wiring harness out, I might try and order a new coil for it just to make sure that that's all running nice, and I'll order all the new rear indicators, the mirrors, the seat cover, all that stuff. put a couple $100 into it and it should be running mint. So yeah, with that out of the way, I'm going to finish pulling the rest of the bike apart and start sanding stuff. Thanks for watching, everyone. That's all for this episode. In the next episode, I'm going to be sanding down the bike and painting it and then reassembling it all and trying to get it running. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing as it would mean a lot. Thanks. I'll see you in the next one.